Hey, you might have clicked on this video and are probably in high school or are wanting to pursue a career in engineering. But you're asking yourself many questions such as, what type of engineer should I become? What classes will prepare me to become an engineer? What are some important skills or qualities that will prepare me to become an engineer? What's a typical salary? In today's video, we will cover all these questions and more and give you my advice on how to become a successful engineer, whether that's electrical or whatever branch of engineering you want to pursue in life. And make sure to stick around to the end for a bonus piece of advice that will make you a lot of money in your career. My name is Jonathan. I'm currently an electrical engineer in the power engineering industry who happen to be valedictorian of graduating class, went to college 100% free, and I'm just wanting to help guide young individuals achieve their goal to one day become an engineer but have no idea where to start. So let's start with the first question. In today's video, I will cover the top 10 most well-paid engineering careers for 2024. And as you can tell, electrical engineering is top 5. However, all these can vary. Some states you get paid more than others, of course, depending on where you live and how inflation is. So my advice is, when you ask yourself what type of engineer you want to become, is to really ask yourself, what's the market in demand for? What will the future demand for? What's going to have the best job security? And after college, you will actually find a good paying job. Look guys, with the development of AI and new technologies, a lot of other jobs such as programming, petroleum engineering, these are all such specific niches that are in demand in the current time. However, with development of technology such as renewable energy, AI will decrease in value over time and will require less human interaction. In my opinion, from every company that I've ever applied or worked at is always looking to hire new electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, civil engineers, structural engineers. These 4 types of engineers go together like peanut butter and jelly. We use each other all the time, specifically in the construction and power industry. First, you have the civil engineers who design the plan layout and where everything's gonna go. Then you have the structural engineers who determine the load calculations for where all this equipment needs to go and what would actually hold these things in place. And of course, you have the mechanical engineers who design the equipment such as the turbines or generators, depending on what you're doing, of course. And finally, you have the electrical engineers who come together to power all this equipment and figure out how to distribute that power to the consumer. Personally, I went with electrical engineering. The reason being is that I asked myself these questions while I was in high school, like what's going to be in demand for in the future. And the best thing about electrical engineering is that it has such a broad market. You can work for telecommunications, power generation, power delivery, programming, hardware, robotic, control. This major encompasses mostly everything that we use in our daily lives, and it's only getting bigger. As the population grows, we will only need more energy to supply the demand. Look guys, no matter what engineer you choose to be, we all take the same classes half of our collegiate career. Whether this is thermodynamic, chemistry, biology, calculus 1 through 3, engineering physics, and then of course while taking my introduction to electrical engineering classes. But of course, what is going to prepare you for these classes, right? And you're probably telling yourself, you suck at math. Look, no one's good at math initially. Math is a language. Literally, how do you expect to speak another language without practice, repetition, and continuing trying to improve? Math is the exact same. So what math do you actually use the most? And I'd say the most important branch of math that you need to familiarize yourself with is algebra. Learning how to manipulate equations, for example, how to solve for x. Most of the time, no matter what class you're on, you're always trying to figure out a missing variable. What is that x? And that x can mean anything. It could be a capacitor, a resistor, or you're given a formula and given all the variables, but now you need to put it together and how to manipulate that formula so that you can get your answer. Another really good class to familiarize yourself while in high school is trigonometry. Trig is like the real world of algebra. That silly pi circle? It'll start to make more sense as you use it more and more. For example, what does pi mean? Sine, cosine, tangent. In college, you will use trig in courses, specifically calculus 3, which is pretty much calc 1, but in 3 dimensions. I know this probably doesn't make sense to you, but trust me, you need to know what these things such as sine, cosine, and tangent mean, especially as an electrical engineer, since these are the fundamentals once you start to learn more about how signals really work. These 2 subjects, by really understanding the concepts, will help you solve any formula you come across, not just in college, but also in the real world. Another question that you might be asking yourself is, how do I know what classes I will need to take? The best way to find this out is to go to the university website that you're planning to go to and look for their course flowchart. Each university might call this something different, but it's all the same thing. This flowchart encompasses all the classes you will need to take each semester in order to graduate in a 4-year timeline. Although going back to this flowchart, the point is that you will want to familiarize yourself and think of this as your graduating guide. For example, circuit theory is only offered in August or the fall semester. So if you don't enroll on August and it's only offered in August, you're gonna have to wait till next year August to take that class. class. And the most common mistake is that people don't enroll on time, don't enroll at all, or just aren't eligible to enroll at that time since you don't have the prerequisite classes to take those classes yet. That's why this flowchart is very important to follow, because they structure it that way for a reason. And it's the number one reason why people don't graduate on time, aka 4 years. However, don't worry about graduating in a 4-year period. Some people graduate in 4.5 years, 5 years. What matters is that you push through and complete the program. Now let's go over what jobs opportunities you should take in your early career as an engineer. Number one is internships. Guys, if you guys have the privilege and ability to work, please go to the career fairs that your college will hold each semester or each year. At these career fairs, all the major companies in the US will send their recruiters to essentially scout for talents. I can't emphasize this enough, but one way to get hired anywhere and that will put you ahead of the competition after college is by having experience. While being an intern, for one, you will get paid and really get to see what actually we do as engineers on a daily basis. By doing an internship, you will be given easy tasks, of course. However, use this opportunity to learn from other engineers that you get to work with and learn all the engineering technical skills they use. You know, for example, what programs we use, how we communicate with clients, how we behave. Essentially, be a sponge and absorb all the knowledge they have while being an intern. Now let's segue into what skills/licenses will put you ahead of the competition and make you a successful engineer in college and in the real world. Number one is study. I had to put this at number one because in high school, I feel like 80% of people never study in their life. And trust me, once you get to college as an engineer and you take an exam without studying, you're gonna fail. Trust me. That happened to me, and that was the most humbling experience I've ever went through. Another skill you need to learn is learn how to listen. Like really listen. You might be listening, but you're not listening. Rewind that to understand that. Another skill you want to learn is time management, because your classes, you decide what time you want to take them. So you can have a class in the afternoon, in the evening, in the morning. So you need to really learn how to time manage so that you can maximize your time usage, such as for studying, having fun with friends, or just relaxing. Another skill that is really important is to improve your communication and socializing skills. Of course, the typical stereotype about an engineer is that we don't know how to socialize, we're awkward, we're nerds, and that's probably half true. But at the end of the day, that you're going to be talking with clients, people that are going to be interviewing you for a job, they're people. And number 5 is to kill your pride. I know that sounds kind of weird, but everybody's prideful. Everybody's like, oh, I'm the best, I don't need advice, I don't need help. Put your pride aside, learn how to ask for help, learn how to be humble, and take advice from people who are smarter than you. When someone tells you you're wrong and you are wrong, learn to accept it and just grow. That's what it takes to be an engineer. You need to be an open-minded person, and this skill will help you no matter what you do in life. And number 6 is express your creativity. As an engineer, your task is to develop or look for a solution to a problem. That's all we really do. We just solve problems. Number 7 is learn to know when to be serious and when not to be serious. Of course, learn what situations you're going to be serious in. For example, you're talking to clients, you got to be serious. When you're talking to your professor, learn to be serious. When you're asking for help, learn to be serious. You know, some people aren't mature yet whenever you go to college, so you need to learn these skills. Number 8, don't be too hard on yourself. Engineering is already hard enough. You sometimes might feel like an outcast. For example, your friend who isn't studying to be an engineer, they have all the time of the world to do whatever they want, right? They have all the free time, and you're stuck because you have homework due, you have a project coming up, you have a test Monday, so you're having to spend all your time studying. That's gonna happen sometimes, and that's why I said time management is very important. But don't look at yourself and compare yourself to others who aren't in the same situation as you are. Now moving on to licenses that will help you after college, especially when it comes to getting a job. Number 1 is your FE exam, or your Fundamentals of Engineering exam. This exam is the prerequisite/certificate you need to acquire before you can apply to get your professional engineering licensure. The NCEES is the organization that actually licenses engineers in the United States, so I'll provide a link down below so you can check it out. And my recommendation is to take your FE during college, because essentially the FE exam is just everything you study in college, depending on what major you study, of course. So for me, I took the electrical and computer engineering test, and it covered all of that. I already passed my FE exam, so I'll probably do another video on how to prepare for that and pass it. And my bonus tip is to career bounce. Literally, if you're not happy with the job you're at, bounce. Go find a better paying one, or one that's treating you better. That's my best advice I can give you, especially to make the most amount of money as an engineer. For example, you start off at $70,000 somewhere, right? You learn all these skills within a 6-month period or a year's period. Go look for another job, and now you have all these skills that make you more marketable, and now you can bump your raise up to 20% versus staying at that previous company for $70,000. You know, you have to wait 5 years to get to $90,000, where you can just go straight to $90,000 within a year period. But in order to do that, of course, you have to actually learn when you're at this company. Learn all the skills that you can, absorb everything that you can, and put that under your belt. The hardest part of becoming an engineer is really the school. You will spend half your time studying, doing homework, working on projects, and of course learning. And becoming an engineer is not as hard as it seems, guys. You're in charge of your life, and you make your life easy by, of course, choosing to do the right thing, which that could be studying, organizing yourself. If you do all these things the right way, you can easily become an engineer. So I hope this video helped you guys out. My next video will most likely be about how to go to college 100% for free. Trust me, it's possible. I know I covered some of these topics at a high level. If you guys have any further questions, make sure to comment down below. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.